Today, I'd like to talk about the coaching principles that underline or form the foundation of all of the work that I do with clients. Hi, I'm Pooja Dang. I'm a women's executive and leadership coach. So number one, dream big, but start small. Too many of us don't set big enough goals because we're scared of failure. We're scared of disappointing others. We think we don't even deserve it. We don't even know where we're going to start. It just seems too scary, too big, too hard, and we kind of put it aside. But here's what we're doing. We're kind of short selling ourselves out of the opportunity to be really excited, to be really fired up. I mean, who wants a mediocre, achievable goal? Like, how are you going to get fired up about your life or your career if the goal is really achievable that you're kind of on the path to anyway? That is sort of the path to the status quo. And it isn't so much even about chasing a title or a salary. It's really chasing that feeling, that engagement of you having an impact and making a difference, which we all want in our lives. And so therefore, dreaming big is super key to get you fired up. But the key that's tied to that is start small. Break that big goal down into small actionable steps, right? So if the big dream is you want to be in the C-suite and you right now are at a director level and you've got things to work on, like building your executive presence, building some of that confidence, getting over that imposter syndrome, building your influencing skills and ability to sort of work with others, that is a journey you can absolutely get on. It doesn't have to happen in a day or a month or even a year. And the great thing is, if you're at a director level and say you're saying VP is good enough, the fact is to get to the C-suite, it's the same path. It's just developing that to a bigger extent. It's not like the path to senior director or VP is one level, but if you go to C-suite, whoa, that's a whole different ball game. You're going to have to like shift gears entirely. No. It's going to be a deeper, broader of the same skill set that you should go to, but much more exciting. The other win when you dream big is you then build yourself some capacity to take on what it'll take to have that bigger goal. How many times has this happened to you where you basically set something that's super achievable and then that's all you do? And it's not bad. The tasks will fill the time available to it. But then other times where you really stepped in and said, no, I really care about this. I'm going to go all out. I'm really going to put in there and get something really excited. You automatically in your day-to-day start to build the capacity to be able to do that. You prioritize this. If your goal is really to get to the C-suite, what you may start to do day-to-day is take that extra 30 minutes to do the deep work, where you start reading industry articles because you want to build your strategic muscle. What you may start to do is reach out to people and have lunches with them every couple of weeks. Reach out to even senior leaders, maybe every month, and you set up a relationship. Maybe you do skip level meetings to sort of build your skills and broaden your base. That's the point, though. When you set a big enough goal, you then prioritize and look at your time and life in a different way and build the capacity to achieve that because you're excited and motivated about the potential for doing so. So dream big, start small, but dream big. The second principle that underlies or forms the foundation of the coaching work I do is behaviors over beliefs. And what that means is taking action. Action first is what is much more likely to shift your internal narrative and belief versus you hoping that you'll shift your belief and then be able to take the appropriate action, right? So let me give you an example. You may believe, for instance, that you just don't have the executive presence. And so when you're in a big group, you tend to sort of stand at the back, stay quiet, not say a lot, because you don't feel like you're comfortable owning the room or the fact that you don't believe you can or do a good enough job at it. Here's the thing. We're not going to magically shift that, right? Like as a coach, I am going to be much more successful telling you, okay, that's what you believe, but let's try some experiments here. Maybe the next time you go into a meeting, grab a seat at the table. So go a little early. Maybe the next time you go to a meeting, lead in instead of having your phone or computer on the side. Maybe the next time you go to a meeting, prepare 1 to 3 questions that you know related to the agenda that you'd like to know more about that you pose in the meeting. Now, all of these are tiny little experiments. They may scare you for sure if you're used to being quiet, but it's not me saying, you know what, you've got presence, go up there and show it. I'm just saying, hey, let's try a few things. Let's see how you feel. So really the key principle is you are much more likely to act your way into a new way of thinking than think your way into a new way of acting. Don't wait to have the confidence to do the things first. Do the things first in small steps so you build the confidence over time. This principle is really key. Taking action it's like when in doubt, act. That's what I always tell people. If you're thinking like, don't think, act. And that'll make the difference because it's the experiment. And even if it doesn't go well, you're getting new information. That's the key. When you act and you take a step, you get data about how did I feel? Did that work? Did that not work? What would I try and do differently? So much better than still sitting back and saying, I got to come up with the perfect plan and the perfect series of steps. Before I take any step, I got to know exactly what's going to work. We're not going to know what works until we try things out. And so therefore, act first, think later. The third principle that underlies the foundation of the coaching work I do is the principle of Kaizen, which is the Japanese term for continuous improvement. Here's the thing, leadership is a journey, not a destination. You're not going to get to a particular level, check off the box and be like, yep, I'm here, I did it, I'm done. No, it's actually a journey of continually getting better, continually learning, running experiments and learning what's the new information. How do I pivot? How do I keep getting better? The most effective leaders have this sort of growth mindset and this notion of, I want to keep getting better every day by small, even tiny steps. Better today than I was yesterday. That's the key. Do you know that over time, if you set yourself up for like a 1% improvement every day, so let's assume it is in your ability to show up and speak and interact with people. Maybe you're shy or maybe you're introverted and you don't talk a lot. And so one of your goals is, hey, I want to be more visible. I want to have more influence and build my presence, right? And so you want to speak up more. We'd set up a series of small steps to be like, I just want to be 1% better every day. So maybe the next time in the meeting, I just speak up once. I say one thing. I do one thing more than I did before. If you go with these goals for 1% improvement a day, over a year, you will be 37 times better than you were when you started off. Not 37%, but 37 times. You know, it's like one of those time-lapse videos where people are learning a new breakdance move or just learning to breakdance, and you see them on day one where they can't even like do a single move and they're awkward and they're not, they can't move around. And then over time, they show these steps of over a year. And at the end, they're doing some crazy stuff, which is super freaking cool. That is the power of compounding. And that is what I love tying in, this principle of continuous improvement in Kaizen and working through on your leadership journey. So the way the three principles work together are, number one, right? Dream big, start small, set the big goal, be super inspired and fired up to really change the world for yourself, for your kids, for anyone, right? Like don't set the goal that's like, set the goal that's like, oh my gosh, that would be just super freaking amazing. That's the goal I want you to set. And then I want you to start small. I want you to break it down into small steps and realize that it's a path we're working on. Principle 2, act first, think later, right? Behaviors over beliefs. We are not going to be able to build the confidence and magically have the executive presence. You're going to have to take small steps that will then demonstrate to you that you can shift the way you think and operate. Like act your way into a new way of thinking and believing and watch your identity shift. Principle number 3, Kaizen, continuous improvement. Let's set the goal to do it 1% a day over time, right? You see how these all come together. It's the big goal. It's small steps. It's taking action, and it's consistent, sustainable things over time that lead to world-changing organizations, world-changing teams, and world-changing leaders, which is what I want you to be. I hope that was helpful. Until next time.